Welcome to the BSSS e-content video. My name is Piyush Pradhan and I belong from Department of English. Today I'm going to teach you chapter number 1, Tree by Tina Morris. Now we are going to take up 5 to 6 different features and we are going to take them one by one. For instance, in the first aspect of this chapter, we'll be talking about the poetic stanzas that was used by Tina Morris in this poem Tree, followed by the summary and its questions, which will be short answer type questions and long answer type questions. And before we'll end, we'll be also taking up some words with their proper meanings and single line sentences also. So let us just begin firstly with the use of poetic stanzas. It states like this: they do not tell us when it would be like without original trees. Nobody imagined that the whispering of leaves would grow silent, or that the vibrant jade of spring pale to grey death. And now we pile rubbish on rubbish in the dusty landscape, struggling to create an original tree in the environment. But though the shape is right, and the nailed branches lean upon the wind, and plastic leaves lend colour to the twigs, we wait in vain for the slow unfurling of buds, and no amount of loving can steer our weary tree to singing. Now these poetic stanzas actually help us to provide us with the immediate use of the summary. Let's begin with that. Now the summary tells us that this particular poem Tree was written by this British poetess Tina Morris in the 20th century. The British poetry revival was in fact first proposed by Tina in the poem titled Meet. She was featured in lot many poetic aspects ever since, and throughout her legendary lifespan, she has had enormous taste in using diverse writing skills throughout her life. In the following poem, she emphasizes over importance of trees, of our human environment. She actually wants to make the present generation realize the true importance of planting trees and to take care of it. She wants to make this generation also realize that the existence of trees is very, very essential for human survival. One of the speciality of Tina Morris' poems is that she always presents a very clean and simple but enormously solid imagery as far as the things that she observes. So in short, we can say that her part of the observation consists of minutest details that she can take up and can make the readers enjoy her work. Now, in her academic works, she has actually written enormous poems, but this poem was so much highly attached and very near to her heart. It's because this poem consists of a special symbolic meaning. And this is about looking at the tree and relishing the vibrant jade of spring season. When the flowers blossoms, there are fresh green twigs seen on the edges of the tree branches. But unfortunately, because of the human beings, humans wants to create lots of pollution, and so a human piles up heaps of rubbish everywhere, wherever there are trees around the environment. And so she says that humans do that intentionally. She just wants to ask a simple question to all the human mankind, that whether one day, if we keep on destroying the trees like these, ever imagine life without trees for human? Because there will be no oxygen. There will be no survival to human existence at all. So lastly, the poem transmits the message of conservation of trees by each and every human being, and that this present generation should also understand that trees are important. Having done with the summary of the poem, now we are going to push along to the use of the word meanings of the glossary. Now we are taking up different glossaries related directly with the chapter, as I have used it in the poetic stanzas, so as this word is available in the summary. The word jade. What exactly is its meaning? Some of us may just take this word as its meaning related to something green. But in other cases, we can see the varying use of this word. It can be sometimes bluish green to yellowish. Now pushing along to the use of second glossary, that is the word nailed. It's a very simple word and its meaning. Nailed means something that is completely stationary, that is, something that is totally motionless or is made to keep fixed at some place. And tree is one of that perfect example. Now the third word of the glossary, that is stir. This time we are working on slightly different sense or essence of the word stir. Mainly we understand in a general term, stir means to take up a spoon and try to use it for any liquid substance in a bowl so that it can move round and round. But in this case, as it is related with the chapter, it's going to give us a meaning to rouse with inactivity, or there is some kind of a contentment or some indifference. So in this, the Tina Morris is trying to connect the dirty human thoughts for creating pollution and stirring the thoughts so that it can affect the environment drastically. And trees are the victims of this pollution of humans. Now the fourth word of the glossary, unfurling. This is the opposite to the word furling. Unfurling means to spread or open something out. Now the next word, vibrant. Vibrant means something that is throbbing with energy. If you all are having difficulty in understanding with the word pulsating, this understanding with the word energy is the simplest way to take up this word, to mug up and to further use it for writing purposes. And now comes the last word. This word is not just the word with its simple and direct meaning, but at the same time, we need to understand its pronunciation. This word over here should not be pronounced as very, but it should be pronounced as very. Very means something that is so fatigued or tired. Connecting to the chapter itself directly, this word is used with tree, the very tree. Nothing can be done if the tree becomes so weary in nature. We have now reached to the stage of our video, which should consist of the chapter exercises. Let's begin, as I told you before, this part talking about the short answer type questions. These questions are 1 or 2 lines each. Please make sure that you do not exceed the limit of the lines or the word limits. Let's begin with the first question. There may be around 5 to 7 different questions related to the chapter, but I have extracted some handful of these. Let's work on that. The first question. What will be the result of deforestation on environment if trees are cut and not taken care for environmental protection? Now in this question, the 3 features are already making things clear. deforestation on environment, trees are cut. Of course, it's giving one of the same meaning. And of course, when we concentrate on the term environmental protection. The second question now. Why do public pile up heaps and heaps of rubbish everywhere, and especially where there are trees around? Again, we can concentrate on this section. And now the last third question. What does this stanza of the poem refer to as? And no amount of loving can steer a weary tree. So, I'm trying to underline these features so that you can have a taste of how different chapters are understood with their questions, focusing on specific themes. Without these specific themes, sometimes it becomes difficult for the students to frame up the questions and further provide their answers immediately. It is now that we are going to take up long answer type questions. And of course, when I say long answers, it means at least 100 words each. Again, I've extracted 2 fantastic questions for you all. The first is, write the summary of the given poem to you. Second, what can be the message of the poem in respect to conservation of nature? Now, the detailing of such questions is very important unless we have got the proper theme. And so far, I think the themes for both the questions is somewhat generally clear, with clarity of what we are focusing on. For instance, over here, conservation of nature. We are going to now talk about the other aspects of this chapter, where I'll be teaching you the use of some exercises. We're going to take up some correct use of the options. Let's begin with that. Let's learn some vocabulary in which we're going to work on some list of the words and we'll be tracing out the antonyms of the available words. There are certain words such as like, death, vain, weary, and stir. The antonyms of these words are unlike, life, modest, energetic. And lastly, for the word stir, we can take up the antonym as to hang around, to stick around, or to stabilize. Now over here, we are looking at some matching of the words with the correct meanings. This is also some handful of things that I have extracted out from the chapter itself so that you can have an immediate taste of how it is like to match the proper meaning or appropriate meaning to the available word. Having done with this part of the section, we have now reached to the concluding aspect of our chapter. And this is where you are supposed to have your utmost concentration. It is because I'm going to take up this last exercise as the part of diversity, and under which I'm going to include students and teachers differently. For students, I would like to teach them the words with the help of 2 different framing of structures. When I take up the word, I'm going to connect that word firstly with the chapter itself. That is to go with the chapter summary, you can say. And at the same time, the same word taken, but explained in a different way. And this could be for the teachers, so that the teachers in the classroom can teach them by connecting this word with some different ideas and thoughts. Let's see how it is done. The first word is dusty. What is the meaning of the word dusty? Dusty means something that is covered or clouded with dust. Let's connect this word meaning firstly directly with the chapter. The construction is like this. Over the years, the tree that grew old already appears too dusty in nature. Now, if we are going to follow the second pattern of the same word, the construction will be in this way. I went for a vacation in a deserted region. Having decided to take few snapshots, the mobile's camera lens, being so dusty, ruined my memorable pictures. Now, the students would have a query or a question that why on earth is that we are learning two different meaning of the words as far as these sentences are concerned. Well, I wanted to make it very simple, because if you get trapped somewhere with understanding one meaning, at least you can use your brain and understand the same word using the second meaning of the structure. Let's push along to the use of the second word, twigs. When a tree provides a solid imagery of our world's existence, witnessing cute little twigs on the edges of the branches adds up to fantastic flavor. That was one part of the meaning. Did you really enjoy it? How we have connected it directly with the chapter? I hope so. Let's understand it in a different way now. Let's learn this word with a different pattern now. A little creeping insect called caterpillar feeds on tree twigs in order to become an adult butterfly one day. Let's begin with the third word, unfurl. The way the human piles up rubbish near trees unfurls the toxic intention of humans' thoughts towards Mother Earth. Let's have this word by taking it in a second pattern. Even if there exists a tree in the environment, still human-created pollution unfurls very slow furling of buds on the branches of the tree. And now the last word, pile. A huge mass of litter or rubbish is enough to poison our delicate atmosphere, making fragile trees to die instantly without any cause. I hope all my audiences have truly cherished this particular chapter, which was chapter number 1 of Unit 1 for the second year English FC syllabus. Hope to share the other videos in the future as well. Thanks a million. Goodbye.